So, welcome to the new chapter file handling. So, this will be our lecture number 31. So, suppose right. So, what we have done so far, you are giving the input right, and then you are running the code and then you are getting the output. So, what will happen if I give the input using file, right. So, that is called the file handling in C++ and Java. So, we are going to see in both the object oriented code, right. So, first we will talk about C++. So, when we are dealing this problem, right, file handling. So, you have to include, right. So, we have input file stream, IF stream, like IO stream we have studied, right, input output stream. So, input file stream, right. So, this input file stream is for reading the file, right. So, reading from the file, and OF stream, right, output file stream for writing to the file. Suppose let us assume, right, we are taking two values, right. So, I will just use the pen. So, let us say A and B. So, in the file some assume that I have a temp.txt, right, assume that I have temp.txt. So, now I am giving, let us say, two values. In the temp.txt I have, let us say, 10 and 5, right. So, 10 and 5. So, now I will be writing the program to multiply two numbers, right, 10 into 5. So, let us say I have to get 15. So, now, so you are sending as a file, right, the input stream, right, that means the input file stream. So, now we have to read these two values 10 and 5 from the file, right, and then, so 10 into 5 we know 50, right. So, in the same file or in a different file I am writing the output, alright. So, that can be done. So, output file stream, for example, I am using the same file. So, 10 into 5 I have to get 50. So, for example, I am getting 50, right. So, this is for output file stream, and F stream, so that will be file stream, right. So, which is for both reading and writing, right. So, this is what we are going to handle. So, that means we are going to give the input as a file. So, this will be useful. For example, assume that this is a AI world. I mean, if you are using some machine learning problem, you may get the huge data, right. So, these data if I want to handle, so there are several other languages that, I mean, you can read the file, but if you know, let us say, in the basic C++ and Java, so you can do with other languages also. So, that means I will be reading the file, right, and from the file whatever be the input, let us say it has several lines. So, every line we can read, and then you are writing a program. So, what exactly you are going to do, right. So, initially what we can do, since all are new to this file handling, so we will see how we are going to write and read, or read and write. So, if I take IF stream, so that is for reading from the file, and if I take OF stream, so that is for writing to files, and only F stream for both reading and writing. It is like hash include, right. You have done IO stream. So, in this case we are going to do IF stream, OF stream and F stream. So, now consider, alright. So, what do you mean by stream? I talked about stream in the previous slide. So, streams are nothing but the sequences of bytes, right. So, during the input operation, alright. So, the sequence of bytes flow from a device to the main memory, right. So, when you have the input operation, that means I am reading the 10 and 5, right. Assume that you are going to read 10 and 5, right. So, that means the sequence of bytes. So, we know that these 10 and 5 or any text all will be stored in some memory location, right, even the complete file, right. So, when I am reading line by line, the sequence of bytes, so that is flowing from a device to main memory. So, that is the case of input operation, correct. So, then you may ask the question, what about the output operation? So, output operation, so main memory, assume that we have taken a simple example 10 into 5, right. So, when you are multiplying 10 into 5, so I have to get 50, alright. So, that means in the case of output operation, the sequence of bytes are flowing from main memory to device, right. So, this is what exactly happening, correct. So, the streams are nothing but the sequences of bytes. So, this diagram is nothing but the byte flow between memory and device. So, during input operation, the sequence of bytes are flowing from device to main memory, and vice versa is happening for the case of output operation. So, let us consider the first program using a file. So, hash include F stream, that means both input and output, right. So, that is what both reading and writing. So, that is what we said, right, both reading and writing we use f stream. So, you are including f stream. So, int main. So, I have my file which is the object, right, which is the object under the inbuilt output file stream. So, that is a class. Output file stream is a class, my file, and the constructor you are passing in example.txt. That means it is handling example.txt file. I think we have taken the same example, right, temp.txt. I said here temp.txt. So, here example.txt. If my file, right, the my file object is invoking the inbuilt function is open, right, is underscore open. So, which is available in the f stream or OF stream, all right. So, because you have included f stream, yes, it's there, it's both for reading and writing, right, that is an inbuilt function. So, if you can able to open the file, right, if you are able to open the file, so then my file, all right, is like a cout statement, all right. So, my file, so that means you have the object, all right, so which is writing, right, so which is writing. So, finally, assume that I have writing to a file, all right, the title if you look, so this is a C++ program for writing to a file, right. So, my file, if my file dot is open, if you can able to access the file example.txt, so my file you are putting the writing and then slash new line, that is a usual one like a cout statement. So, my file the object, so which is writing. Once it is over, assume that you have written something, you have to close the file, all right. So, my file will invoke the close function, right, and then return 0. So, this is what explained over here, right. So, this program we have the combination of, so I have done, right, you have a f stream hash include f stream, and then we are using the class OF stream, right, we are using the class OF stream, and my file is nothing but the object, right. So, my file is an object and this is associating with the file example.txt, right. So, this is being associated with the file example.txt, right. And then what is happening, the second case, the if statement, right, my file is invoking the is open method, right, or is open function, member function, it is an inbuilt function, all right. So, is it possible to open the file successfully, right. So, if it is so, right, if the example.txt file can be opened successfully, right. So, then we have, right, if it is true, right. So, then my file is writing, right. So, my file, correct. So, my file will write and then you have to close the file. So, that means my file is invoking the close member function, which is ensuring that the file is properly saved, right. So, when you use this close function, all right. So, this ensures the file is properly saved and no resources are leaked from the file, right. So, this is how we are going to write to a file in C++. Maybe we will take an example or we will run the code, all right. So, let us consider this program and also we can see example underscore cpp.txt, right. Now, we will open the example underscore cpp, all right. So, when you are running the code, so here you go example underscore cpp.txt. So, there you are getting the writing as the output, all right. So, here you are getting writing as the output. Once again we can see the code, all right. So, here you go the same, right, my file is an object, off stream is a class. So, here you have, right, my file will access example underscore cpp.txt, right, initially it will be empty, and if my file is invoking is open, if it is able to open it, then what we are doing, my file, so this is under f stream, is going to do the writing. Maybe we will include one more, right, after line number 5, my file, right, I am writing that, next line I will put control C, right, next line my file welcome to file handling, something like that we will write, new line anyway I put my file, right, my file output operation welcome to file handling, right, you put the new line slash new line, right, slash new line semicolon. So, let us see. So, example.cpp.txt is there, maybe initially I think you have to do empty, right. Can you open this example? Yes. So, or it will override. So, no need to worry, all right. So, let us again run the code, let us see what will happen. Compile and run, we will see it is executing successfully, and if you look at the file, yes, You can see writing, because I put slash new line, it is again printing welcome to file handling. So, this is how you can do it. It's like printing the hello world, right. So, I have not given any input, right. It is reading the file example underscore cpp.txt. Even we have handled the second case. Second case, the file contains only writing, right, initially empty, and in the second case it has only writing, if you recall, right. Then when again I run the code, it will overwrite, right, writing will also come, and then welcome to file handling will also come. In fact, you have seen the output. So, this is the basic program, right. So, from here you can develop, for example, you are developing a logic for adding two numbers, multiplying two numbers, right. So, you can take the input from the file. So, it has to read, maybe we will see some more example, right. So, then you will understand. Okay. So, now we will go back to the theory, and again we will come back to CPP as well as Java. I hope you understand the basic file handling program in C++, right. So, we have done this. So, now another interesting example, reading from a file in C++, right. So, reading from a file in a C++. We include IO stream, right, input output stream. This is a usual one you have studied, right. So, only F stream, right. So, now we have my file under input file stream. The previous program we had seen output file stream. My file is output file stream under the class output file stream, and here if you look, in the case of a reading, we have IF stream, which is a class, and object is my file, and again we will have a same example.txt, right. We have same example.txt. So, now we have one line variable, right, whose data type is string, right, whose data type is string. Again similar, if my file is open, so if I could able to open this example.txt, right, while get line my file comma line, right. So, that means my file is an object, correct, and line is a string. Assume that I am reading the first line, welcome to IIT Roorkee, correct. So, what it is doing, it is C out line. So, whatever you have every line, right, assume that I have line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. So, it is printing those lines, right, it is printing those lines, C out line. So, it will print in the console, we are going to see the output, and then as usual you have to do my file should invoke the close, alright. So, then you have return 0. I hope you understand. So, my file is an object, it is under the class input file stream, IF stream, alright, and then it is trying to open example.txt. If it is successful, while get line my file comma line is a function, inbuilt function. So, that means in the my file object, and line is, you can see it is line number 5, it is the variable under string, right, data type is string, right. So, that means line by line it is reading, and then it is printing in the console, every line is being printed in the console. So, now once it is over, if you are in the end of the line, correct. So, you have done everything, that means when it is becoming false, it will come out, and then my file will close it, right. So, my file will invoke the close function, that is the meaning, right, and then return 0. So, let us run this code. This is an interesting code, how you are reading, okay. So, we will go to the program. So, example2 dot. So, we will see what is example.cpp contains. First, we have to see what is example2.cpp contains. Before running the code, what we can do, we will close it, right, press any key to continue, right. Now, we will see, maybe we can add something also. I have to open example underscore cpp.txt. Let us open here in the directory, we have to open example underscore cpp.txt. Okay, shall we add some lines? Welcome to file handling. Next line, let us say welcome to OOP. I am filling the file, right. It's a text file. Welcome to OOP. Welcome to IIT Roorkee, right. Welcome to IIT Roorkee. Next line may be hello world, all right. So, assume that now we have to save it. Let us save this file. Yes, we have saved the file. So, now what we can do, we will go to the program. So, you have 5 lines, all right. So, these are the 5 lines. So, what it will do, you have example cpp.txt and my file, if my file is open, if it is true, and while loop. So, while loop what it is doing, it is reading line by line, right. Get line, my file is nothing but the object, and line is the variable under string. So, you have string, right, hello, welcome, hello world, right, welcome to IIT Roorkee, welcome to OOP, right. So, these are all we have filled if you look at the file, right. So, this what we are going to do, line number 8, if you look, we are going to print this, right. So, we are going to print this in the console, right, we are going to print. So, now we will execute this code, compile and run, right. So, it is running successfully and here you go, right. So, you can see all the output. We have written writing, welcome to file handling, welcome to OOP, welcome to IIT Roorkee and hello world, right. So, these we have written this in example underscore cpp.txt file, right. So, this means it is reading perfectly well, this code is reading the file perfectly well, and then I am trying to write every line I am going to write in the console, right. So, you can see in the console all the 5 lines have been printed, right. So, this is how we can read and write, all right. So, we can do read and write. So, in the previous example we had seen writing to a file, and this example you have understood how we can reading. It is reading from the file, right, whatever example underscore cpp or example.txt, and then we are able to read it line by line, right, read the data or the text line by line, and then we are printing those in the console, right. That is what we have included IOStream also, cout line. So, that was printed, right. I hope it is clear now how you can read and write. So, this is the basic, you have to do that. So, then you can develop, I am giving assignment. So, what you can do, read 2 numbers, all right, read 2 numbers, let us say 10 and 5, and then you do the multiplication or the division, right. So, now you know that the basic logic, you know that. So, 10 and 5 you are reading, and then there itself you can write the output. Now, you understood from here, all right, how to read and how to write. So, this is what I mean in the previous case. So, you have the ifstream class, ifstream class, input file stream class, we have an object called my file. So, the object is nothing but my file, right. So, it is associated with the file example.txt, right. In the code we have taken example underscore cpp.txt, correct. So, here you go, when you have a if block. So, the if block we had seen in the last program itself, that is a case of writing my file dot is open. If this is true, that means my file is invoking is underscore open, correct. If this is true, then it is going to the while block, right. So, the while loop, what it is doing, it is reading line by line, right, and it is reading line by line where from the file using the getLine function, right, getLine inbuilt member function, correct. So, my file is an object and line is a variable under string, correct. So, then each line, right. So, that is stored in each line, in the sense I am talking about the file, right. So, these are all stored in the variable line. For example, the first one we had seen hello. So, initially the line will be nothing but hello, correct. So, the line will be nothing but hello, that is what here we are doing, get line my file comma line. So, my file is an object, the line, the first line hello. So, now line is nothing but equal to hello. So, that is being printed, and whatever be the second line, let us say welcome to OOP, assume that it is the second line. Now, while, right, my file, it is reading the next line. So, next line when it is reading, correct. So, whatever, let us say welcome to OOP. So, now line is equal to welcome to OOP, and that is being printed, next line is being printed, and you can see all are being printed in the console, right. So, you know how to use cout, right, and then it is being printed in the console. In fact, we had seen in the console it is being printed, right. So, now after reading, the file should be closed. So, this will be done using the close function, that means my file object will invoke the close function. So, the file will be closed, right. So, this is how we can read from a file in C++. So, now you are familiar with reading and writing in C++. So, in Java, right. So, similar one we can see in Java as well, right. So, here what we have to do, we have to use java.io package, input output package, right. So, here we use file writer for writing to files, file reader for reading from files, exactly similar, only thing the syntax will be different. In fact, the keyword will be different. So, once you know in one language, you know how to handle the files. So, since this is object oriented programming, so we keep on using C++ and Java. And then we have several advanced file operations. So, here you go buffered reader, which is a advanced file operation, and similarly print writer, which is also the advanced one. So, let us consider the same similar one, how we are going to writing a file in Java. So, we import java.io file writer and here import java.io exception, right. So, IO exception means we are going to use try throw catch, this we have already studied, right. So, now you have a public class, so which is the driver class, write to file. So, now you have a main program, right. So, here you have a main function, main method. So, I use try, IO exception is there, therefore, I use try, right. I will try to create my writer, that is an object whose class is file writer, right, whose class is file writer, and then dynamically allocating a memory with the constructor. So, it is a one argument constructor, you have example.txt, that means similar to C++, your my writer is going to associate with the example.txt, correct. So, if it is able to open the file, alright, if it is able to open the file, then there is no problem, the flow will continue, it will go to line number 9. Otherwise, if there is any problem, right, assume that the file does not exist or there is a problem to create the file, right. So, in that case the exception will be caught over here, right. So, this can be done in the next case also, even writing assume that there is a problem, right. So, the exception will be caught, IO exception under E. So, E is invoking print stack trace, right, E is invoking the function print stack trace, right. So, the meaning here is the printing stacking trace is nothing but you cannot able to access, or I am not able to create a file, or I am not able to write it, alright. So, if these kind of exception occurs, right, so it is a inbuilt, correct. So, this will tell, I mean you are not able to access the file or open the file, or you are not able to write it in the file, right. So, now you see over here next line, assume that you are able to access the file or you are able to create the file example.txt, right. Now, this my writer, like whatever we had seen in C++, similar to C++. So, this is invoking write, right, it is invoking the write method where you have one parameter writing, right. So, we can do like what we have done in C++, you can put something write, welcome to IIT Roorkee, hello world, alright, hello world in Java. So, all these things we will do it while seeing the example, right. So, this writing will be there in the example.txt. So, when I open example, when I run the code, right, assume that I can able to access example.txt, there is no exception, the flow will go, line number 9, in this file you are writing something, right. So, the word is writing you are doing. So, you can write whatever you want in the file, and then line number 10 you are closing the file, my writer will invoke close, exactly almost similar, right. So, some keywords are different, otherwise whatever we had seen in the case of C++, so this will work in Java as well. So, this is what the explanation is this. So, we have the combination of file writer and IO exception, line number 1 and 2. So, you have to import these package, right. So, once you have done this, so now you are trying to write the character data is nothing but writing into the file, the name of the file is example.txt. So, in case I am not able to open the file or there is a problem with the file, there will be exception will be thrown, and then you can see that, I mean it can be handled, alright, it is catching some exception. So, and that exception will invoke print stack trace, alright. So, because we have to come out of this code, alright, we know the usage of try throw catch, alright. So, printing stack trace, so that means I am not able to access the file name example.txt, I am not able to open the file name example.txt. So, that is the meaning. So, now we will see this example in Java, right. So, let us open Java console. So, here you can see we have created the package oops underscore nptel. Here you have imported java.io file writer, public class name is write to file, I have that is a driver class, and then I have main method, my writer is nothing but an object under file writer. So, if I am able to access example underscore java.txt, right, or able to create, then there is no problem. If you are not able to create, then there will be exception will be caught, or even if you are not able to write, exception will be caught, right, or even if you are not able to close. There are reasons, right. There are, I mean, you might have observed this. Sometimes you open the, let us say, some file, all right. So, there is a possibility that you, I mean, it's very difficult to close it. You have to exit, you have to kill, all right. All these things are nothing but the exception, all right. So, assume that when you are trying to access this example underscore Java, or you are trying to create this, if you get the exception, so that will be caught in line number 12, right, and he will invoke print stack trace, correct. So, now what we will do, we will run the code, right. I hope you understand. We will run the code and example, yes, writing. So, maybe what you can do, we will write some more. Welcome to, we will just copy this my writer dot write, put it welcome to file handling in Java. I am just writing more, all right, so that you can understand. Now, we are writing welcome to file handling in Java. Okay, next line. Maybe I think you have to put new line. Otherwise, let us see. It's not a problem. Next line. Welcome my writer. Right. We will just copy and paste it. Welcome to OOP. My write, or Control V. Right click paste. Or in the file we have, okay. Okay, we'll write it. Dot write. Welcome to OOP. Fine. Right. So, I made 3 write statements, correct. So, let us see, we will run the same code, and then when you open this example underscore java.txt, maybe one more time you have to open it, run the code, we have to run the code, fine. So, now we will open it, example, yes, since we did not put the new line, all right. So, it's a printing in the same line, all right. So, this is how it works. In fact, we are getting all the statements, writing, welcome to file handling in Java, welcome to OOP. Okay. So, I hope you understood how we can do writing a file in Java. All right. So, what we have done over here, so here you have the public class write to file, all right, which is the driver class, and the main program is there. My writer is nothing but an object, and you have file writer, which is nothing but a class, right. So, we can able to create or access example.txt. If I am able to open the file, well, I will not go to that exception, correct, and then I will do the sequence of writing statements, right. So, my writer will invoke write, so writing statement, and once it is over, you have to close the file. So, this is a writing a file in Java, all right. In the next class, so what we can do, we will do reading a file in Java, right. So, reading a file in Java, we will see in the next class. Thank you.